Hey everybody, Dr. Diane, your libido expert here. We're talking about mindfulness and pleasure today. And this topic is so important because we're not taught growing up. We are not taught about how to actually be present. We're also not taught about how to experience pleasure. The experience of pleasure oftentimes is something that we either learn or we just kind of self-create a story in our head of what pleasure is supposed to be based upon media. And the problem with this is that we're not actually explained how to get inside of our body to experience pleasure. And so people can have these experiences where they are having a hug with their partner, when they are doing different things from an intimate standpoint and their mind is wandering, where all of a sudden sex is not as enjoyable, right? And so the trick with this is to actually practice pleasure throughout our entire day. So you might relate to the concept of scarfing down a meal so fast, being in a hurry or having a conversation, or your mind is busy and you're scarfing down a meal so fast and all of a sudden the food's gone and it's like, I barely even remember tasting my food. So that is the experience of anti-pleasure, right? Of moving so fast that we're not allowing ourselves to experience the moment. One of the reasons I love this practice so much is that the practice of being present to experience pleasure and joy in our life is about sex, but it's not just about sex. It's about the total experience of enjoyment and happiness and connectedness to ourselves, to our friends, to our family, and to our others. And we practice this in these little moments all day long, and that brings us back to our pleasure body. So in practicing being present and actually feeling the sensations of intimacy, of sexual intimacy, of touching and cuddling and being there with our partner, that practice is something that we literally do all day long by our own individual five senses. So this means that when we are eating, we are really, really tasting our food. When we are listening to music or birds on our walk, we are really listening to the sounds. That we are tuned in to the fabrics on our body, right? And obviously there's way more things to tune into in life than just these, right? Sometimes we need our brain to be on a lot of different things at one time. That is the human experience. And when we practice bringing our mind to the moment over and over and over again in these little tiny ways, so that when we eat, we're in the moment. So that if our partner hugs, we actually drop into their embrace and feel their embrace and feel their skin and feel their touch so deeply. And what we're training our body is to go into this extreme presence of pleasure in a moment, at a moment's command with the mind, so that when we are in an intimate experience with our partner, we can actually drop into that better. And guess what? That's where orgasms get really exciting. That's where all the chemicals like oxytocin get really released and highways. That's when we start to balance our body and any sort of a depression and anxiety using our natural chemical cocktail. That's when the magic happens. So that's the practice of pleasure throughout the day to help it to actually bring into your intimate life. All right, everybody, please do subscribe to the channel if this has been helpful. Always look for my upcoming masterclasses, which you can often find below in the show notes as well. That's where you can ask me questions about stuff like this and so much more. I'll see you soon.